Network joins us now to look at this survey. Adam, I know this is just a survey, but do you think that the pandemic has brought people together? It's a silver lining to what people have been going through for the past 18 months.
Well, good morning, Paul, and good morning, Ellie. It's really interesting because this piece of research that the University College in London have been doing has been reporting kind of what's been going on in the pandemic in different stages. And the first part of the research back at the summer last year said that there'd been a 76% uprise in the number of people who were engaging with their neighbours. Towards the back end of the year, that went to 23%. And now it's interesting to see that this research now says that we're somewhere around 32%. And so for me, I certainly do think that, the pandemic has helped us because we've been at home to get to know our neighbours that little bit more. And I think I was sharing this with somebody the other day. I think it's that sense by we're not just having to be able to sit there and say, oh, they're the people that live at number 22 or they're the people that live at number 43. We actually now know them by name. And I think street WhatsApp groups, of which many have been a part, have helped getting to know maybe names of people on our streets and in our communities that we didn't know before. So I do think there is that sense. And so for me, as somebody who is part of the Neighbourhood Prayer Network, which is a Christian organisation, about saying this isn't a time to retreat when it comes to engaging with our neighbours, but to continue.
Adam, good morning to you. Do you think a part of this is going through something really awful together, like with anything in life? If you go through a shared bad experience, it brings you closer. I mean, we have a street. It's not particularly forthcoming with friendliness, I'll put it that way. But doing that Thursday evening clap for the NHS, we actually started to look at each other across the street and engage and chat a bit more around that clap. Do you think that it's that sense of doing those shared activities together, like the NHS clap, that made us more on par with our neighbours?
Because actually what this research says is there was an increased sense of shared value. And, it was kind of like the nation just stood on our doorsteps on a Thursday evening to clap for carers. And I think, there is something that united us in that. And so I do think there is something about the fact that it is because of the fact, yes, the pandemic has affected us all in different ways, but nevertheless, we've all gone through this together. And so, yes, there is one thing about just being at home and being able to see our neighbours more, but just those acts of being able to clap at the carers and to do the random acts of kindness in our community has brought that sense of shared value. So I certainly concur with what this research is suggesting to us.
Yeah, but there will be some people who are worried about, their privacy, and they don't necessarily want to get to know all their neighbours and stand on the doorstep and clap with them and kind of, take a cup of sugar round to them or whatever, or go round indeed for a cup of sugar. You wouldn't take it there proactively, but do you know what I mean? It's that fine line between kind of keeping to yourself but also being aware of others, and people aren't always sure where that line is.
Well, I think for us at the Neighbourhood Prayer Network, we've got about 8,000 members all over the country who are part of what we do. And we encourage people to get to know their neighbours through acts of care. But I think, Paul, you're absolutely right. I think the word there is as appropriate, because for some people, they don't want that. But I think we've just got to think about maybe for those that do, maybe for those that are lonely, maybe for those that are older in our communities, and maybe those are the kind of people that want to have love and care expressed to them. But I do think we do need to be really careful. And so for the Neighbourhood Prayer Network, one of the things that we say to our members is, please think about, we send out an email every Friday that goes out to all our members with suggestions, but we do say, think about how this is in relation to your own community, into your own street, into your own neighbourhood, rather than being the one that feels like they're being pushy. Being a good neighbour is very much about being exactly that, a good neighbour and knowing where the boundaries are.
So, Adam, just briefly, how would you suggest that we keep this community that we've built up during the pandemic?
I think the one word for me is about intentionality, actually. The number of people that have kind of now said the WhatsApp group days are over. You know, we did have those WhatsApp and it was pinging every 5 minutes during the pandemic, and now we've kind of gone and kind of switched those off now, and we don't think that they exist. But actually, I think for me, part of what we would be saying at the Neighbourhood Prayer Network is to continue intentionally to see how we can support our neighbours. And so that does mean having the same level and eyes and ears that we had when the pandemic was going on. We shouldn't retreat and we shouldn't go backwards.
Yep, really good to talk to you, Adam. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Adam.